Hello and welcome to Talk 100.3. I'm Neil Oja, and as promised on TSB, we've been joined by Payal Kshatriya Cerri, who is the co-founder of Middle East Fashion Week. And there is a long list of things that you've been associated with, you've done in the industry and beyond. Payal, we'll touch upon literally everything. But first up, tell us, what was your inspiration behind getting the Middle East Fashion Week up and going?
Oh, well, it was an inspiration that was actually started by Simon Logato with, obviously, we shaped it up for 2 years, actually. And it's the gap in the market.
Right.
It's the gap in the market of a proper, credible, professional platform that the business communities, the design communities, everyone in the fashion industry, whether it's media, journalists, bloggers, that can actually get together, buyers. So it's really, our pursuit of really creating something that is long-lasting and that makes sense and that is actually at par with any other fashion week in the world. That's what we're aiming for, and we are not doing so bad.
Well, no, definitely not doing so bad. I mean, just few days away from the start. But, Dubai is, as they normally say, the melting pot of all cultures, thus also making it absolutely ripe and potent for fashion absorbers, for the first more advantage right here in the Middle East, because you have people from all over the world literally over here. So you can literally sample size everything and try out newer things without any fear of being recognized as, oh, this didn't work, right? Because they're takers for literally everything here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's right. These are the future markets, let's be honest. These are the future markets. And I think where the gap lies is really a proper ecosystem, because it's all about retail. Let's be honest. The whole ecosystem, right, from design to manufacturing, the whole thing. That's where the gap is, and the market. I mean, you can get anything, like you said, in Dubai, literally just about anything, right? But the fact is that we are still looking in terms of the fashion ecosystem for designers, for brands that are not always homegrown.
Right.
And this is one of the main objectives of the Middle East Fashion Council as well.
This is interesting. You've been talking about, from the time we started speaking, you've been talking about everyone else but you. Now, I want to shift focus on you, Payal, and I want to ask you, you have a degree, an MBA in luxury brand management. How did that happen? It's not one of those courses that parents tell you to go and study. Right? Parents will tell you to become a doctor or an engineer, but this is something that one chooses to be or do. How did that happen?
And back in 2003.
And back in 2003.
When luxury didn't exist in India. It was just, I don't know, just my love for fine things. Just my love for fine things. Like I love to say, a garment should be as well made inside as the outside.
Wow.
And that's my belief, and that's why I've been in the luxury industry now for 20 years. And I pursued the MBA to really further my understanding and knowledge of what it means to run a luxury brand, and I've had the privilege since then to run a few. So,
no, this is amazing. I mean, following your passion, wanting to do something that you love doing, and executing it to perfection. This is just phenomenal. I mean, few good things in life that come by so comfortably. Now, we are just a few days away from the Middle East Fashion Week. What goes behind in creating an event of this magnitude?
Pure hard work.
Wow. Very simply said. This is very, very simply said, but it's not as easy as you make it sound, right? So what are the first few blocks that you put in as a base to create the entire gamut of event?
Yeah, I think the first bit is strategically understanding where that gap is, filling those gaps with the right things, getting the right people around you, professionals that understand what this means.
Right.
And precision, working with a lot of precision to elevate the event, because there's a lot of events here, let's be honest.
Obviously,
I mean, Dubai is the party place of the planet, right? So there's a lot of events. I think it's the whole credibility behind the event, which is the level at which we are doing things, which is everything from, let's say, the catwalk,
right,
the hair, the makeup.
Yeah, a lot goes into it, right?
All of that, right? It's all the little details that go into making something professional that people actually then they're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in Paris. And this is what you feel like when you're at Middle East Fashion Week.
Wow, I like it. I mean, I don't need to apply for a visa. I'm an Indian. I feel the pain of, applying for visa every single time that I have to go anywhere. But if you're bringing Paris home, right in my backyard at Agenda, I think I'm definitely coming for this one. Now, from setting up the event where you are creating literally a marketplace for everyone to come in, see, sample, buy, and for models to get a platform to walk for probably the best designers in there. Now, what all designers are we looking at who will be coming in and showcasing their talents there?
So we have a wonderful lot of designers, and the last time we headlined with Professor Jimmy Choo OBE with his exquisite bridal and evening line. This time we are headlining with Ezra Couture, that hasn't shown for the last 4 years. So we have the great privilege of having Ezra with us. We will have we have Michael Cinco, who's launching his ready-to-wear line with us, launching for the first time.
Right.
We have Fernamato, who's going to come up with a collection that is just going to blow everyone off. We have the emerging pick of the Middle East Fashion Council this year. That is Comme des Stars. It's a brand called Comme des Stars Paris. So yes, we have a great lineup of designers. We have been very selective with the designers that we have, obviously, in terms of curating, in terms of, and yeah, you mentioned so we have the showrooms, so we call them the Middle East Fashion Week showrooms under the same roof.
Okay.
Because it's all on site. So your catwalks happen, and from 3 in the afternoon onwards, buyers, clientele can actually come look at the collections up close. And this is a massive dynamic shift in the market as well.
This is amazing, because I for whatever knowledge I possess, I've seen models do their catwalk. Whatever is presented is right there on the stage, but a showroom of sorts that you're mentioning hasn't been a part of many fashion weeks. How did this idea come about?
Well, so I've been working in Paris since a while now, and normally what we do there obviously is brand show, right, and individually on their calendar, spend a fortune doing a show, and spend a fortune getting a showroom together and trying to get the buyers together. Right. So this is something that, since it's new in the market, obviously it's painstaking for designers to be actually able to get the B2B side.
Makes sense.
Financially and otherwise. So what the footfall that we look at, we're looking at least 6,000 people across the 4 days, which is massive.
This is huge.
So this is the power of Middle East Fashion Week, to bring all those people under the same roof and for them to be able to enjoy the fashion lounge and to be able to go see the collection. So this is what's important. It's not in separate places. We will evolve with time in terms of the strategy, but currently this is what the market needs, which is you're there, you look at the collections on the catwalk, and then if buyers, they can have a look and look at the brands that they want to engage with, that they want to buy, or they just want to have on their radar.
That's amazing. You're almost creating a one-stop solution for everyone who comes there. How do you curate which designer comes in? How do you decide the entire curated list?
Well, it's first and foremost all about the quality of the garments. So obviously it doesn't have to be, the ultimate luxury brand, but what it has to be, it has to have a certain quality to it, a certain luxury element to it, obviously. Then there's the aesthetic, there's the show, and there's the drama behind it. So it's really a mix of everything. It's just a mix of a lot of things. So we do have a jury, a selection committee that actually has, we go through the applications and we decide if a brand can be part of it or not. And some we are like, we know they're not ready. They're not that, I call them not market ready. So if they're not market ready, it's just very simple. You know what? Just take your time, go build your brand a little more, and then come back and you're ready to showcase with us the next year.
Yeah, I mean, it must be heartbreaking for those brands to be to get that letter saying, oh, you're not market ready yet. But then, yeah, I'm sure it is a stepping stone for their journey to go ahead and probably rectify those tiny little mistakes and come back again and knock your doors.
Absolutely. And we accompany them in terms of mentoring, in terms of a lot of things, which is currently, I like to call it a startup. Right. We are a startup. But the big little family that is Middle East Fashion Week, we have a network of, it's an advisory committee across the globe, where we really try and handhold them, with time to come. And even if they're not part of it, we're more than happy to give them advice on how to move forward and then come back and apply with us.
Right. You mentioned about a committee. There's a forum that's going to that's going to take place, and this is the Middle East Sustainable Fashion Forum. What is that all about? Sustainable fashion is something that has caught my attention so many times, and I'm someone all for sustainability. Tell me about this.
Well, it's a complete personal passion
Wow.
because I'm a product person. That's what I've been doing all my life, which is right from design to boutiques and the returns.
Okay.
So it's the entire value chain that interests me personally, and I believe that we need the conversation in the region, because I lived here a couple of years. The conversation in the region a few years ago was what I used to call sustainability 0.0, and
Okay.
I think we need to elevate that conversation as far as fashion is concerned and bring it to the realms of, you know, people who are actually consuming fashion, right?
Right.
So it's not just the fashion community itself, because that's great, but
Fair,
what
yeah.
about you, everyone who's actually wearing fashion that
Makes
needs
sense.
to so that's the platform, and what makes it super out of the box for us is the partnership with Sustainable City, and Sustainable City really kind of step out themselves also of the comfort zone of real estate into a world where fashion touches everyone, and fashion can actually drive a strong message home, right? So this is what's important for us. The other partner that we have on the Sustainable Fashion Forum is Deloitte. So we will be looking at some very interesting speakers, some big cheeses coming in and talking to us, hard numbers, but also talking to us about, you know, the reality of fashion, what it means, and kind of just give people food for thought. And that's the platform that we're creating.
Right. I mean, because when you mentioned Deloitte, I was like, hey, these guys are into numbers and they are into their Excel sheets. What have they got to do with fashion?
A lot.
But then, yeah, I mean, when you explain it that way, it definitely, you know, throws a lot of light. So when can one attend if one has to or wants to?
One must.
One must. There you go. I like that affirmation there. So when can we come and attend this, and where is it going to happen?
So it's happening under the same roof.
Okay.
Exactly where the catwalks are, but just moving the arrangement a bit. So it's 4:30, doors open at 3:30 for attendance. It's 4:30 to 6:30. Tuesday and Wednesday, which is 8th and 9th of November next week, where we'll be having a keynote. We start with a keynote. We'll be presenting some extremely interesting consumer insights as well, not
Wow.
just hard numbers, you know, digestible information for
Right,
everyone, right? Interesting stuff. And we then we move on to two panels, also involving, there's one panel which is about women championing sustainability,
Wow.
where our focus this time is going to be SMEs, women that have actually walked their talk.
Right.
And then the second day we're looking at a keynote and again a panel on sustainability and fashion, which will be really a mix of you know, your C-suite and your SMEs, which is
Right.
different perspectives, and trying to share with the audience what this really means. And I think what really differentiates what we are doing from a lot of sustainability talks that are around is that we're really looking at getting into, you know, elevating the conversation and getting into details and really giving people a broad perspective of the entire ecosystem.
Makes sense, yeah. Because I mean, see, sustainability, the moment I think of sustainability, it sounds like a concept. And for me to attain that concept and take it to every single home is something that, you know, is probably could be like one of the pet projects that one could look at. Because sustainability at the larger purview sounds like, oh yeah, let's change the world. But for every single person, that step has to be taken. How does that one step happen? And I think that this forum will address a lot of those questions, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Just you said it perfectly well. I couldn't say it better. I think sustainability is a word that's just far too, excuse me, but you know, abused as well.
Yeah.
Used in a sense that just is hollow at some point,
Yeah,
right?
you're right, absolutely.
It's just hollow. It's just
And
hollow.
just to make you sound like a really woke and available, and I know everything that's happening in the world.
Correct.
You're
And
right. No?
all the greenwashing that happens. So it's just become fashionable to call yourself sustainable. But how many people are actually walking their talk in terms
True.
of companies, individuals who promote sustainability, right? So I think this is where all of us individually can make a difference. Our voices can make a difference. Our actions can make a difference.
That makes
Because I
sense.
think it's the action behind the voice that is really important. Looking into the mirror and looking at your own wardrobe. Let's start there. It's very
Oh,
simple.
absolutely.
And for every company to actually be able to walk their talk, and it's a very, very complex subject.
It is.
So yeah, that's
No,
what
I'm
we're
glad.
addressing.
I'm really, really looking forward to this forum. I mean, this is like a personal, you might say a personal pet project. I walk the talk. I wear sustainable shoes. So that's one step from my side, but then, this is something that I'm personally looking forward to, and I'm sure that a lot of individuals, a lot of companies that come there will gain a lot from this conversation. And I'm really glad that under the big umbrella of Middle East Fashion Week, the Sustainable Fashion Forum, I think it's a fantastic, big thumbs up to you guys out there.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys 4:30 to 6:30 at the Agenda Media City, Dubai. We welcome you to the Middle East Sustainable Fashion Forum on the 7th and the 8th and the 9th of November. See you there.
Super. Now, before I let you go, I know that you have a lot up your sleeve with the event coming out just around the corner. One last question, Payal. Who's styling you for the event?
Oh my God. You know what? I don't have the time for it. Me myself. So yes, for the first day, I will be styled by one of our stylists who's a part of the Middle East Fashion Week family. Miguel, his name is, and it's a brand called Comme des Stars. And the rest of the days I am going to be styling myself. So
interesting. Now see, we've got the insights right here on Talk Sport and Business. Thank you so much, Payal, for joining us, and we've been looking forward to the Middle East Fashion Week.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take so much. So that was Payal Kshatriya Cerri joining us. She's a co-founder of Middle East Fashion Week. A fantastic conversation here, and my personal take home from this definitely is the Middle East Fashion Sustainable Fashion Forum. I'm looking forward to this, and obviously the main event. Thank you so much, Payal, once again.
Thank you so much.